So we have the Sony State of Play coming up this week on June 2nd, but I have some good news. It looks like we won't have to wait until Thursday, as the entire show is just leaked out online. At least that's some of the stuff that's been going around. And I feel like we talk about this all the time, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again when it comes to some of these leaks that pop up online. We're going to look at a couple of them here today. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the SpawnWave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's head over here. This was on Push Square, who started compiling some of these as they were starting to spread, especially on social media, like on Twitter, very, very quickly. I think these pop up on 4chan initially, and they kind of jump from there and just find their way all over the place with images of a computer screen that has up a list of titles from a show. Like we can see this one here that I blew up a bit more so we could take a look at it. And it has like the State of Play banner at the top, confidential information, red text. I think it's italicized too, some asterisks around it. So it's official stuff here. But the first thing you have to ask yourself when you see this pop up, which every year, basically whenever we're leading into one of these showcases, something like this pops up online, right? The first thing you want to ask yourself is, who is this list for? Like, I don't know any marketing or developers, or even all the way at the top, like Jim Ryan. No one's just keeping a list like this on their computer screen that somebody, I guess, walks in and just snaps a picture of the. They couldn't hit print screen and then send that to themselves, just a screenshot of it. They had to get it just at the angle, and I guess they were able to not just stand still and have to run through the room at least. But like you kind of start to think about like the idea of someone running in and taking a picture in an executive office with this just happens to be up on the screen, and obviously that becomes ridiculous. But at least with some of the stuff they are talking about here, like Stray release date trailer, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which Sony did seem to mention that they have like the marketing too with investors during a presentation they did. They had like the logo for Avatar up there, and I assume that's where whoever created this leak kind of threw that in there. And I wouldn't be shocked if they did have something PSVR 2 related for compatibility with Avatar. That actually would make sense as being something that would show off what the PSVR 2 can do kind of in that setting. And I'm sure the very impressive visuals they'll have in that game. Horizon Call of the Mountain, we already know that exists. That will probably be shown off there. And I think that's going to be one of the big first-party games that will launch alongside of the PSVR 2, just to give people a reason to want to pick it up. And then Resident Evil 8 VR trailer, again, that would not at all shock me. It falls in line with third parties and PSVR 2. And Capcom's already done work with PlayStation VR for Resident Evil 7. So, yeah, that would make complete sense. Street Fighter 6 gameplay, again, third party. We see Capcom and Sony work together with Street Fighter basically last time. So, yeah, they would do it here, too. Final Fantasy 16, Gotham Knight's a weird one. Last of Us Remake holiday trailer plus Factions 2 teaser. This is where I'm not really on board with that idea because it's going to be third-party and PSVR 2 stuff. So, to me, the only way you work in first-party stuff is if it has a VR mode attached to it for PSVR 2. Do you think Last of Us Remake is going to incorporate VR? If you do, sure, it could be there. I don't necessarily think it will. I still think Factions could end up being its own game even, which I guess they could tie it together with Last of Us Remake to help sell it. I do question if Last of Us Remake on its own would be enough necessarily to do the kind of sales Sony would want it to do, but I'm sure there are people like myself who would still pick it up and play through it again. And if it does have controls similar to Last of Us Part 2, and visually it looks better and all this, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see. Now, according to Push Square, this was created just to see if people would pass it around, and others decided to do the same thing. And they're also kind of being passed around and talked about as being legitimate. So people decided to open up Microsoft Office for 5 minutes, drop the banner in, and then just kind of make a list of titles here for something called Project Destructive. They also have like timestamps in here, which is really funny. This is not at all what any of this looks like, by the way, like internally, or even when the one time I guess you could see stuff leak out early in this kind of format where you have titles and stuff is Ahead of time for some of these shows, you will have information given out to press. It's not like weeks in advance, though. Sometimes it's same day even. And the idea there is they can write articles, put information together, and have stuff ready to go immediately after the presentation has ended. There's like an embargo set up and all of that still, but like it doesn't look like this. It looks like a press release with information underneath of the title, making sure that people who are writing these articles are able to put together as much of the info that would be in that showcase. They don't just hand you this list here. And again, people who would look at this and say, whoa, there's really an image of the entire State of Play schedule. I just don't really know who it would be made for in the first place. So there you have it. In what should not be a surprise to anyone, those lists are not real. They're just sent around as fakes to see, I guess, who would catch on to it, start to spread it, and I guess talk more about what are at times obvious guesses thrown in there and then some weird stuff. One of the lists had God of War. It's like that they specifically said third party and VR titles. Is God of War gonna have VR in it? Probably not, no. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down below. I'm sure we'll be back here again to talk about these lists when the Xbox showcase is getting a bit closer, and then whenever that inevitable Nintendo Direct airs sometime in June. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.